Because now another brigadista is going to lift our souls. She always does. She's a tremendous activist in whether it's issues of homelessness, immigration. She's got a song to sing and she really belts it out there. Let's welcome now Carol Denney.
Oh, thank you. I'll grab my instrument. I'm so honored to be here. It's hard to express. Many of you, I used to come to your poetry readings and never say a word. I was so shy, and I didn't think that songs were poetry, or I still can't figure that out, which is which or what, where it stops and starts. So it's such an honor to be here, and I'm really, really amazed by what Lincoln just did. Let's clap again. I hope I heard that right. Did I hear the word indigenuity?
Yeah, good.
Oh. That's so cool. This is a strange little poem song thing. It's called "You Thought the Books Would Burn." So. Racing right down to the wire, a nation with its eyes on fire, playing little war games on a million empty TV screens. You thought the books would burn, but they just melted into beeping toys, and people ripping copper out of walls and lights and pipes. They know there's something missing. Yeah, they know there's something wrong, and you thought the books would burn, but they just melted. Watched them go, you watched it die and twist and light a fire and fly. You watched them because you had to, you just couldn't look away, I know. You thought the books would burn, but they became a flock of stumbling birds. And now no one can recognize the authors or the names, and all the names keep coming back to you. Or is it you thought you knew, you thought the books would burn, and now they're footprints and they're everywhere. Right through your empty hands and blew apart. No one can remember how it came to this drunken, blind apocalypse. You thought the books would burn, but they exploded over everything, and phrases, words, and little shards of thoughts are burned in people's flesh like bright tattoos. It came to this because we can't control a thing. You thought the books would burn, but they exploded. They exploded. You thought the books would burn, but they exploded. I swear, I really took each simple chance I thought I had. I swear, I understood what I was doing, but it came apart. I thought the books would burn, but they just fluttered in the sun, the wind, the rain. I did the same. I thought it had to know my name, but no. You thought the books would burn, but they remembered and forgave it all, as though they could at least be frames for every scrawl across the page. You thought the books would burn, but they fell open at the perfect place, and no one can erase them now. You know that, don't you? Yes, you do. You thought the books would burn and burn and burn and burn and burn and burn. You thought the books would burn, but they remembered every name and face and every single fingertip that played across an open page. You thought the books would burn, but they fell open at the perfect place and poured into the streets and ran until no one could understand. You thought the books would burn, but all the pages turned to snow. You thought the books would burn, but all the pages turned to snow. You thought the books would burn, but they just melted. you.
This is here.
Not this one. Yeah, that's another sing-along, and that'll come later. So you just cue me when we're at the end. I'm just going to do one more guitar song and then do some, like, instrumentless poetry for the fun of that. We looked like flowers when we were young. We looked like angels, everyone. Our skin was beautiful, our eyes were bright. We sleep in doorways now, night after night, asking for handouts. There's no one's desire. Makes you so small inside, makes you so tired. Just wanna roll along, whatever goes by. Wanna surrender, just wanna die. Night after night, day after day, looking for mercy to meet us halfway. They want us to leave, but where do we go? We are just people, they don't want to know. We built all the bridges, we fought all the wars, and now it's just sirens and slamming of doors, slamming of jail cells again and again. Once we were soldiers, once we were workers, now we're just them. Night after night, day after day, looking for mercy to meet us halfway. They want us to leave, but where do we go? We are just people, they don't want to know. They look at our clothing, they look at our shoes, our troubles and stories, our yesterday's news. If we were puppies, they'd throw us a bone. If we were children, they'd take us all home. Wish I had wings, wish I could fly. Build me a home somewhere up in the sky, when nobody hates, nobody stares, where somebody listens I worked hard against Berkeley's anti-sitting law in the last election and with on some other stuff too, but we were successful. Beating back this just terrifically nonsensical anti-sitting law, and of course, we're going to beat back the one in San Francisco. It'll just take some time. This is called Homelessness is a Plan. Homelessness isn't an accident, it's a plan. Average monthly rent jumped 10% to over $1,800 in July 2012. California minimum wage is $8 an hour. You multiply, you come $500 short. Homelessness isn't an accident, it's a plan. So you work the night jobs, take the unpaid internship, hoping it turns into money. Sell the records, the books, the painting, the old guitar. You expect nothing, maybe you pray. Homelessness isn't an accident, it's a plan. If we can't fill in the blanks somehow, if we can't make the ends meet, we're not trying hard enough, say the planners and policymakers, who wish if we insist upon not having a trust fund, we would just go away, because there is no way we're going to fit into the neighborhood once the new penthouse condos are done. Homelessness isn't an accident, it's a plan. In California, it's a tradition. The wealthy want our labor, our strong backs, our willing hands and hearts. They want our music and our brilliant ideas. They want our joy and our fire, but they don't want to live anywhere near us. Just don't ever think it's an accident. It's a plan. So today I had a CAT scan for the mapping of my breast cancer radiation treatment. And I wrote might as well make good use of the waiting room. So this is called Ask Your Doctor. In the newspaper today it says women treated with radiation are more likely to have heart problems. Ask your doctor if panic is right for you. I got a bunch of flyers saying there are free programs of support, education, and hope for people with cancer and their families. Ask your doctor if laughing hysterically is right for you. Social workers, counselors, or members of the clergy can be helpful if you want to talk about your feelings or concerns. Ask your doctor if terror is right for you. Groups may offer support in person, over the phone, or on the internet. Ask your doctor if blogging is right for you. Resting is important, but doctors usually advise patients to try to stay active. Ask your doctor if contradictory information is right for you. You may wish to take part in a clinical trial, a research study of new treatment methods, including molasses injections, lemon zest, visualization, massage, or the ingestion of shark cartilage. Ask your doctor if despair is right for you. And this is called In Praise of Trash. The books at Kaiser's Breast Care Clinic, nutrition for breast cancer patients, exercises for breast cancer patients, picture books of depressing paintings by breast cancer patients, how to talk to children about breast cancer patients. They gotta be kidding. I want trash. I want People, Oprah, and Vogue. I want close-up color shots of perfect cakes and cookies, and how to make hats from sweaters. I want food porn. Brave cancer patients brimming with hope can take a hike. I want 50 craft ideas for broken teacups. I want money shots of dessert. I want serious photography of hot casseroles. Then I brought this one because some of us, including Jack in here, love puns. And when I was diagnosed, I thought, what can I do to give my life a new, interesting challenge? And I began bird watching. Well, I'm the worst bird watcher ever born. I just don't know what they're called. So, but I've been spending a lot of time reading these bird, figure out which bird it is books. And they're so fun. So I wrote this. It's a 1-minute play, which is a form that intrigues me as much as haiku. So it's called Stork with Me. Okay, bird puns on fire. I lark you, he said. You make me feel like a tanager, she said. Stork with me, he said. I'll never leave you alone, but I'm vireo late. I can't spare a minute. What's thrush, she said. I can't tell you now, he said. Magpie later. I baked a crake for you, she said. Wait until I'll stretch my legs, he said. It's apparent that you don't love me any more, she said. I widgeon wasn't true, he replied. From here on, it's going to be a little awkward, you see. I accept her invitation. She can come with us, she said. I don't mind her. It's Snow Goose, he said. She's bittern about last time. But it wasn't her turn, he said. She said, we were out of petrol and I couldn't plover. Sure you coot, he said. It would have been eagle. You're shrike, she said. I worried she'd never stop grousing. I guess she's not like that, he said. She's not that kind of gull. It's one thing or the other, she said. Why don't we just barn owl the firewood? That's egret idea, he agreed. Water thrush. Before we do that, let us spray. Will it matter, she asked. That's a real good question, he replied. So I'm a big fan of haiku, and I have a few haiku I'd like to do. This is called the cell phone haiku. This is partly just eavesdropping. She looked at her phone, and then she said, it's okay, nobody wants me. I love that. These are some Stalin haiku. The Poets Brigade listserv sometimes gets clogged with Stalin, and it's hard to break it free. So I proposed that we just, whenever we talk about Stalin, we use haiku, and I ended up with quite a few of these. So I'll do them real rapid. I saw Stalin at Disneyland. We stole his cotton candy and ran. He thought there was a Stalin ride where everyone watches each other. Yesterday, Stalin was panhandling near Powell. I gave him a dime. I considered a quarter, but I was pissed about the genocide. Stalin lives under the freeway overpass and plays a lot of chess. Stalin dresses down. We have that in common. We both love subtlety. Stalin rides BART trains, reading Proust in French, trying to look impressive. Stalin was on top, and then he fell. Let's try to have some compassion. Please discuss Stalin. Turn in your papers at the end of the hour. Stalin and I go back. We were in the same cabin at summer camp. Stalin did gulag time. That's why he hated old Camp Lackawanna. He hated making lanyards, so he started agrarian reform. His camp project called The Great Transformation of Nature was a flop. Stalin got sick at camp. We were kind of mean. We called it The Great Purge. His favorite games were summary execution, centralized control. Stalin is lonely. Nobody likes his profile. No one reads his blog. Stalin's on Facebook. Nobody writes on his wall, and he has no friends. Stalin does Zumba. He adores doing it, but he looks terrible. Stalin was in my carpool for a while until he started talking. If you think Stalin can play the blues, then you are not really listening. Stalin would be proud to think poets spend their time dancing around him. Stalin wasn't a bad guy. Like all of us, he was misunderstood. And the last one is, if I hear one more word about Stalin, I may oppress a poet. I write some very dark holiday haiku. So I'm just going to read these. These are 5 that I send in a row to my friends at holiday time. Come, little reindeer, we welcome you in since we ran out of turkey. Styrofoam snowmen, oh what fun just watching them burning on the lawn. I don't mind shopping, I really don't mind at all, as long as I'm armed. Ceramic Santas sitting in a discount bin. Where is my hammer? One Christmas special too many, it said in the coroner's report. This is called Street Gig. I play on the street today in front of Coldwell Banker, unless it pours. The closer it gets to Christmas, the more generous shoppers become if you wear the right shoes. It's a little sad. They love the really bright colors. If you wear the right shoes, you get paper. Otherwise, it's nickels and dimes. This is called The Worst Opera. My 15th court appearance was like watching the worst opera ever produced. The worst libretto, with the worst timing, the most boring costumes, the most terrible singers, no harmony, no instruments, a lot of whispering. The paper rustling was louder than the actors. The audience was only waiting for their small part to be over, and then one by one they would leave. And the last thing I'm going to do is this strange little thing that's called a cranky. A cranky is a paper movie. And since this is the last little event, my part of this event, which I hope goes on forever, you can feel free to crowd down because I'm going to play a song and it will accompany this little movie. So here I go. And it's called Unless, of Course, You Die. I'd like to buy you everything, a drink to toast your health, a silken scarf, a diamond ring, but I want them for myself. Everybody, I want them for myself. I want them for myself. Such a dear companion, we have such lovely fun. I'd like to spend my life with you, unless I meet the one. Unless I meet the one. Unless I meet the one. If I don't, I'll be your wife. At least I'd like to try and stay beside you all your life, unless of course you die. Unless of course you die. Unless of course you die. I'd like to life with you, unless of course you die. someone catches me, I'll make arrangements so that they can keep you company. Can keep you company. Keep you company. I'll make arrangements so that they can keep you company.
Bravo!
Okay, folks, don't forget now the books here, and also once more for Carol Denney and Lincolnburg.